Welcome to a chapter a day. Stop. Right now, stop chasing. Stop forcing. Stop trying to convince life to give you what you already deserve. Because the truth is this: you are not blocked. You are not unlucky. You are not forgotten by the universe. You are repelling what you want. Every time you beg, you repel. Every time you doubt, you repel. Every time you say, "Why isn't it here yet?" you push it further away. This audiobook will change that. You are about to learn the difference between needing and receiving, between forcing and allowing, between desperation and power. The universe does not respond to words. It responds to identity. It responds to certainty. It responds to emotional coherence. You don't get what you want. You get what you are. And if what you are is anxious, doubtful, chasing, overthinking, then what you receive will mirror that. But if what you are is calm, certain, aligned, and internally fulfilled, then what you receive will be inevitable. Over the next 2 hours, you will rewire your relationship with desire. You will understand why everything you've ever wanted is actually a disguised longing for love. You will learn how to access the quantum field through your heart. You will dissolve emotional dependence. You will release the need to control the how. And you will step into the identity of someone who expects miracles without forcing them. You are not here to beg life. You are here to receive it. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Receiving versus repelling, the invisible energy shift. There are only 2 states you ever operate from: receiving or repelling. You are either open, aligned, certain, and available to abundance, or you are tight, doubtful, chasing, and unintentionally pushing it away. There is no neutral. You are either in a state of receiving, meaning you believe in the abundance of creation, or you are in a state of repelling, rejecting, resisting. This is the invisible energy shift that changes everything. Most people believe manifestation is about effort, strategy, tactics, timing. It is not. It is about state. The state you occupy determines the results you experience. Wanting from lack repels. Desiring from wholeness attracts. Chasing pushes. Certainty pulls. Feel that. Chasing is loud. Certainty is quiet. Chasing is frantic. Certainty is composed. Chasing asks, when will it happen? Certainty knows. It is unfolding. Whenever you want to experience a real quantum shift, a real life transformation, the first thing I want you to ask yourself is, am I in a state to receive, or am I resisting and repelling? That question alone can redirect your entire destiny. Because when you're rejecting, you're entertaining the problem. When you're receiving, you are entertaining a solution. The universe does not respond to the volume of your request. It responds to the vibration of your identity. You do not get what you beg for. You get what matches your internal position. Let's make this real. Imagine 2 people applying for the exact same opportunity. Same qualifications. Same experience. Same resume. The first person needs the job. They refresh their email obsessively. They rehearse worst-case scenarios. They think, if I don't get this, I'm stuck. Their body is tense. Their thoughts are noisy. Their energy says, I am incomplete without this. That is repelling, not because they are unworthy, but because they are broadcasting insufficiency. Now imagine the second person. They would love the job. They see themselves thriving in it, but they know their value does not depend on it. They apply. They follow up once. Then they move forward with their life. They wake up calm. They continue improving themselves. They carry an inner dialogue that says, something aligned is coming. This or something better. That is receiving. Same action. Different state. Different outcome. Chasing pushes. Certainty pulls. You can feel the difference in your body. Repelling feels contracted. Receiving feels expanded. Repelling feels heavy. Receiving feels light. When you are in the energy of receiving, which is really allowing yourself to be loved and supported by the universe, You are focused on the highest outcome, the best case scenario. You are not obsessing over what could go wrong. You are aligned with what can go right. And here is the truth most people miss. Life is an emotional mirror, not a verbal one. You can say affirmations all day long. But if your nervous system is screaming fear, life responds to the fear. This is the emotional mirror principle. Reality reflects your dominant emotional state, not your temporary positive thoughts. If you feel chosen, opportunities choose you. If you feel overlooked, evidence confirms it. If you feel supported, support appears. You don't access abundance through the mind, which is linear. You access it through the heart, which is multidimensional. The mind calculates. The heart broadcasts. Abundance is not linear because abundance is the quantum itself. It does not move step by step like a checklist. It reorganizes instantly when alignment is present. When you're in a state of high vibrational emotions like love and gratitude, it instantaneously teleports you and shifts you into the alternate state of reality where you're receiving. Notice the word shifts. You are not building abundance. You are shifting into it. You are not earning worth. You are embodying it. And embodiment is internal. Becoming a magnificent receiver begins with reevaluating your relationship with the Creator. Not as something distant, not as something judging, but as the field of intelligence that permeates everything. When you begin to acknowledge the presence of all that permeates existence and is surrounding you at all times, then your vibration starts to raise. You feel supported. You feel guided. You feel safe. And safety is the foundation of receiving. When you feel safe, you stop gripping. When you stop gripping, you stop repelling. Most people repel because they are afraid. Afraid it won't happen. Afraid they are not enough. Afraid there is not enough to go around. But abundance is not scarce. It is responsive. You are either in a state of receiving, meaning you believe in the abundance of creation, or you are in a state of repelling, rejecting, resisting. There is no in-between frequency. So what do? You regulate your state before you pursue the outcome, before you send the message, before you make the investment, before you apply, ask, launch, speak, or move. Pause. Ask yourself, am I calm? Am I grounded? Am I acting from inspiration or fear? Whenever you want to experience a real quantum shift, a real life transformation, the first thing I want you to ask yourself is, am I in a state to receive or am I resisting and repelling? If you feel tight, you wait. If you feel desperate, you realign. If you feel incomplete, you generate completeness first. This is not passivity. It's about alignment. Aligned action feels powerful. Desperate action feels draining. Aligned action says, I choose this. Desperate action says, I need this. And need repels, because need implies absence. And absence cannot magnetize presence. Certainty can. Certainty says, there is more than enough. Certainty says, what is meant for me recognizes me. Certainty says, I am already supported. Chasing pushes. Certainty pulls. When you're rejecting, you're entertaining the problem. When you're receiving, you are entertaining a solution. So entertain solutions. Visualize outcomes that empower you. Speak about your future as if it is cooperating. Carry yourself as someone who expects alignment. You do not need to force the door. You align with the room. You do not convince the universe. You cooperate with it. And cooperation begins internally. Right now, feel the shift. Take a breath. Relax your jaw. Relax your shoulders. Slow your thoughts. This is receiving. Open. Calm. Certain. From this state, you make decisions differently. You speak differently. You choose differently. And because life mirrors state, it responds differently. This is the invisible energy shift. Small internally. Massive externally. You are not learning how to get more. You are learning how to stop pushing it away. And once you understand that your emotional baseline determines your external experience, You stop fighting reality. You master it. Chasing pushes. Certainty pulls. You are either in a state of receiving, meaning you believe in the abundance of creation, or you are in a state of repelling, rejecting, resisting. Choose consciously, because in the next chapter, we go deeper. If repelling comes from lack, then we must understand lack itself. You've seen the shift. Now let's expose the root. Chapter 2. The definition of needing. Emotional dependence is powerlessness. Needing is not desire. Needing is dependency. Desire says, I would love to experience that. Needing says, I cannot be okay without it. That difference changes everything. When you need something, you assign it authority over your emotional state. You give it power over your peace. You unconsciously declare that your completeness is conditional. And the moment your completeness becomes conditional, your power dissolves. Emotional dependence is powerlessness. It sounds subtle. It feels normal. Society even encourages it. You need more money to feel secure. You need a partner to feel fulfilled. You need recognition to feel worthy. But needing is the belief that something outside of you is responsible for something inside of you. And that belief creates separation. Need repels. Wholeness attracts. When you operate from need, you are broadcasting a frequency of lack. You are telling reality, I do not have this. I am not this. I cannot generate this on my own. Life responds accordingly. You are either in a state of receiving, meaning you believe in the abundance of creation, or you are in a state of repelling, rejecting, resisting. Needing is resisting, because needing is arguing with the present moment. It is saying, this moment is not enough. I am not enough. Something must change before I can feel okay. That internal argument creates contraction in the body, tightness in the chest, urgency in the mind, impatience in your decisions. From that state, you make choices that confirm instability. You text twice. You over-explain. You discount your value. You say yes when you mean no. Not because you are weak, because you believe you require something external to stabilize you. But here is the law. The universe cannot deliver what you believe you do not have capacity to hold. If you believe money will overwhelm you, you will unconsciously repel it. If you believe love will hurt you, you will sabotage it. If you believe success will isolate you, you will shrink from it. You cannot receive what contradicts your self-concept. Abundance is not linear because abundance is the quantum itself. It reorganizes around identity. If your identity says, I am incomplete, reality mirrors experiences that reinforce that incompleteness. If your identity says, I am whole, reality reflects opportunities that match stability. Need repels. Wholeness attracts. Let's break this down in real life. You want a relationship. From need, the internal dialogue sounds like this. I don't want to be alone. I hope they like me. I need this to work. Your energy becomes performative. You edit yourself. You monitor their reactions. You fear silence. That tension is felt. Now shift. From wholeness, the internal dialogue changes. I enjoy my life. I choose to share it. If this aligns, beautiful. If not, I remain complete. Your energy softens. You become authentic. You are not trying to extract validation. You are offering connection. That is magnetic. Need repels. Wholeness attracts. Consider money. From need. I'm behind. I have to make this work. I can't afford to fail. Every decision becomes pressured. You rush investments. You accept poor terms. You undervalue your work. From wholeness. I am capable. I create value. Opportunities respond to clarity. Your posture changes. Your standards rise. Your actions become strategic instead of reactive. When you're rejecting, you're entertaining the problem. When you're receiving, you are entertaining a solution. Needing entertains the problem. It replays what is missing. It magnifies what is absent. It obsesses over timelines. Receiving entertains solutions. It visualizes possibility. It amplifies gratitude. It assumes support. You don't access abundance through the mind, which is linear. You access it through the heart, which is multidimensional. The mind calculates how long something will take. The heart calibrates to the feeling of already being secure. When you're in a state of high vibrational emotions like love and gratitude, it instantaneously teleports you and shifts you into the alternate state of reality where you're receiving. Notice what gratitude does. Gratitude says, there is already enough. Needing says, there is not enough yet. One expands, the other contracts, and contraction blocks capacity. If you believe money will finally make you feel safe, you are signaling that you are unsafe without it. That belief makes safety dependent on numbers. The nervous system stays alert. The body stays braced. A braced body does not receive easily. A regulated body does. So the work is internal, not fixing, not forcing, stabilizing. Becoming a magnificent receiver begins with re-evaluating your relationship with the Creator. If you see the Creator as distant, withholding, selective, you will feel the need to earn. If you recognize the Creator as the intelligent field that permeates existence, supporting life at every moment, you begin to relax. When you begin to acknowledge the presence of all that permeates existence and is surrounding you at all times, then your vibration starts to raise. You feel held. You feel guided. You feel supplied. And when you feel supplied, you stop grasping. Needing dissolves when you realize nothing external is your source. The relationship is not your source of love. Money is not your source of security. Achievement is not your source of worth. They are amplifiers of what you already generate. If you cannot generate peace alone, you will chase it in people. If you cannot generate worth internally, you will hunt for applause. If you cannot generate safety within, you will try to purchase it. Need repels. Wholeness attracts. This is not about suppressing desire. Desire is natural. Desire is expansion. Desire is creative impulse. Needing is attachment to outcome for emotional survival. And survival energy is not magnetic. Thriving energy is. Whenever you want to experience a real quantum shift, a real life transformation, the first thing I want you to ask yourself is, am I in a state to receive, or am I resisting and repelling? If you feel that you must have something in order to breathe easier, that is need. If you feel you would enjoy something while remaining grounded without it, that is desire. Grounded desire attracts. Desperate attachment repels. You are either in a state of receiving, meaning you believe in the abundance of creation, or you are in a state of repelling, rejecting, resisting. Choose wholeness first. Generate the emotion before the evidence. Feel secure before the deposit. Feel loved before the relationship. Feel worthy before the applause. This is capacity, and capacity invites expansion. The universe cannot pour into a cup that insists it is empty. It pours into the cup that knows it can hold more. So expand your sense of self. Speak differently about yourself. Stand differently in rooms. Decide from sufficiency, not scarcity. Need repels. Wholeness attracts. Once you understand this, you stop negotiating your value. You stop outsourcing your stability. You stop begging life to complete you. You become complete. And completeness is magnetic. You've now seen how needing weakens your position and why emotional dependence blocks flow. In the next chapter, we go even deeper. If everything we think we need is external, what are we actually seeking underneath it? Chapter 3. Everything you desire is a yearning for love. Look beneath the surface of every goal you have ever written down. Go deeper than the object. Go deeper than the title. Go deeper than the number. At the foundation of every desire is a feeling, and at the foundation of every feeling is love. Money equals security. Security feels like safety. Safety feels like being supported. Being supported feels like love. Success equals validation. Validation feels like recognition. Recognition feels like being seen. Being seen feels like love. A relationship equals companionship. Companionship feels like belonging. Belonging feels like acceptance. Acceptance feels like love. You are not chasing things. You are chasing feelings. This realization changes the entire game. Because if you believe the object contains the feeling, you will chase the object. If you understand that the feeling is generated within you, you will embody it first. An embodiment is receiving. You are either in a state of receiving, meaning you believe in the abundance of creation, or you are in a state of repelling, rejecting, resisting. When you think the car, the house, the partner, or the promotion holds the emotion hostage, you enter pursuit mode. You grip. You strategize from fear. You measure your worth by proximity to the goal. That is repelling, not because the desire is wrong, but because you assigned emotional survival to an external symbol. You are not chasing things. You are chasing feelings. Let's make this practical. You say you want a new car. Pause. Is it rubber and metal you crave? Or is it the experience of sitting inside something beautifully designed? The smell, the sound, the way it responds to your touch. It is the feeling when you drive it, the sense of elevation, the subtle confidence, the appreciation of craftsmanship. That feeling is love. Love for beauty, love for engineering, love for the version of you who experiences it. The object is a channel. The emotion is the truth. You say you want more money. Is it paper you desire? Or is it the relaxation that comes from knowing your bills are handled? The freedom to make choices without tension? The generosity you can express? Money symbolizes capacity. Capacity feels like empowerment. Empowerment feels like expansion. Expansion feels like love. You are not chasing things. You are chasing feelings. Now consider relationships. You want a partner, not because you lack oxygen alone, but because you imagine shared laughter, shared energy, shared creation, moments that stretch into gratitude. You imagine being understood without explanation, being valued without performance, being chosen without negotiation. That is love. The relationship is the stage. Love is the experience. When you recognize this, you stop idolizing outcomes. You begin cultivating the emotional state directly. Because here is the law. The external world amplifies what you already feel internally. If you feel unworthy, money amplifies anxiety. If you feel insecure, relationships amplify fear. If you feel inadequate, success amplifies pressure. But if you feel grounded, resources amplify generosity. If you feel whole, partnership amplifies joy. If you feel aligned, achievement amplifies service. The core desire beneath every goal is emotional safety and worthiness. Safety says, I am protected. Worthiness says, I deserve good. When those two are stable inside you, desire becomes playful. Without them, desire becomes desperate. You are not chasing things. You are chasing feelings. So the work is emotional literacy. Ask yourself, if this manifested today, how would I feel? Confident? Free? Adored? Respected? Now ask a deeper question. Can I generate a fragment of that feeling now? Because when you generate the emotion first, you step into receiving. When you're rejecting, you're entertaining the problem. When you're receiving, you are entertaining a solution. Needing money entertains lack. Generating gratitude entertains provision. Needing validation entertains doubt. Recognizing your strengths entertains confidence. Needing love entertains loneliness. Practicing self-acceptance entertains connection. You don't access abundance through the mind, which is linear. You access it through the heart, which is multidimensional. The mind says, once I get it, then I will feel it. The heart says, when I feel it, I align with it. Abundance is not linear because abundance is the quantum itself. It reorganizes around resonance. When you're in a state of high vibrational emotions like love and gratitude, it instantaneously teleports you and shifts you into the alternate state of reality where you're receiving. This is not mystical. It is energetic congruence. If you want to feel appreciated, appreciate. If you want to feel supported, support. If you want to feel chosen, choose yourself. You are either in a state of receiving, meaning you believe in the abundance of creation, or you are in a state of repelling, rejecting, resisting. Generating love internally signals readiness. Waiting for love externally signals absence. One expands your field. The other contracts it. Becoming a magnificent receiver begins with re-evaluating your relationship with the Creator. If you view creation as abundant and intelligent, you relax into trust. When you begin to acknowledge the presence of all that permeates existence and is surrounding you at all times, then your vibration starts to raise. You feel less alone. You feel less pressured. You feel accompanied by something greater. That sense of companionship is love. And when you feel loved by existence itself, you stop demanding proof from people. Your posture changes. You walk into rooms as someone who belongs. You negotiate as someone who deserves. You speak as someone who expects reciprocity. This is emotional independence. You still desire. You still expand. You still create. But you are not emotionally starving. You are emotionally supplied. You are not chasing things. You are chasing feelings. And once you understand that the feeling is the real treasure, you stop worshiping the container. You cultivate love for beauty before the car. You cultivate gratitude before the raise. You cultivate appreciation before the partner arrives. Then the external arrives as confirmation, not rescue. That is receiving. When you operate from fullness, life becomes an echo of your internal abundance. When you operate from emptiness, life mirrors the gap. You are either in a state of receiving, meaning you believe in the abundance of creation, or you are in a state of repelling, rejecting, resisting. Choose to generate the emotion. Choose to stabilize safety. Choose to affirm worthiness. Because once you master the emotional source behind desire, you stop mistaking symbols for substance. You stop chasing the world for what only love provides. And in the next chapter, we take this even further. If everything you seek is love, and love is the core, then why have you been conditioned to search for it outside yourself? Chapter 4. The core desire for love was never outside you. Love was never absent. It was misdirected. From the beginning, you were taught, subtly and repeatedly, that love is earned. You received praise for performance. You received attention for achievement. You received affection when you behaved correctly. No one meant harm, but the pattern formed. You began associating approval with safety. You began associating accomplishment with acceptance. You began associating achievement with worth. And slowly, without realizing it, you connected love to output. Grades equaled validation. Obedience equaled praise. Winning equaled visibility. The nervous system learned a formula. Do more. Get love. Perform better. Stay accepted. This is how external validation loops begin. They are not dramatic. They are repetitive. A gold star. A compliment. A comparison to someone else. Each moment reinforces a belief. I am valued when I produce. And once that belief settles into identity, life becomes a constant audition. You measure yourself against others. You chase milestones. You seek reassurance. Not because you are superficial, because you are trying to feel loved. What you seek externally must be generated internally. This is the turning point. If love was linked to achievement, then achievement becomes addictive. You accomplish one goal. Relief arrives briefly. Then it fades. You earn more money. You feel secure for a moment. Then a higher number becomes necessary. You receive praise. You feel seen until silence returns. This is the validation loop. External approval provides temporary elevation. Then the baseline drops. So you pursue again, and again, and again. This is not ambition. It is attachment. The child within you learned that love was conditional. Conditional love creates performance-based identity. Performance-based identity creates pressure. Pressure creates repelling. You are either in a state of receiving, meaning you believe in the abundance of creation, or you are in a state of repelling, rejecting, resisting. When you believe love must be earned, you operate from tension. You overwork. You overextend. You overanalyze. You believe the next achievement will finally settle the internal question. Am I enough? But the question persists because the source is misunderstood. What you seek externally must be generated internally. Let's deconstruct the conditioning. As a child, your survival depended on connection. Approval from caregivers equaled safety. If they smiled, you relaxed. If they withdrew, you felt threat. So your system adapted. You became who you thought you needed to be. Responsible, funny, perfect, invisible, overachieving. Not because that was your essence, because that strategy maintained love. That strategy becomes identity, and that identity follows you into adulthood. Now, instead of seeking approval from parents, you seek it from partners, from bosses, from audiences, from society. Different faces, same pattern. You crave acknowledgement. You crave reassurance. You crave proof. Proof that you matter. Proof that you are chosen. Proof that you belong. But belonging is not a prize. It is a state. You don't access it through the mind, which is linear. You access it through the heart, which is multidimensional. The mind says, if I reach this level, I will be enough. The heart says, enoughness is inherent. The mind counts metrics. The heart recognizes being. Abundance is not linear because abundance is the quantum itself. It does not accumulate worth through steps. It responds to embodiment. When you're in a state of high vibrational emotions like love and gratitude, it instantaneously teleports you and shifts you into the alternate state of reality where you're receiving. Gratitude interrupts the validation loop. It affirms sufficiency without applause. It says, I value myself now. This is how you dismantle the conditioning. You stop waiting to be chosen. You choose yourself. You stop performing for affection. You accept yourself without audition. You stop negotiating your worth. You declare it internally. What you seek externally must be generated internally. Consider how this transforms relationships. When you believe love must be earned, you shapeshift. You hide preferences. You tolerate misalignment. When you recognize love as intrinsic, you become honest. You express needs calmly. You walk away from what diminishes you. One state attracts scarcity. The other attracts reciprocity. Consider how this shifts career ambition. When validation drives you, burnout follows. When contribution drives you, fulfillment expands. The difference is internal sourcing. Becoming a magnificent receiver begins with re-evaluating your relationship with the Creator. If you perceive creation as withholding, you strive harder. If you perceive creation as inherently supportive, you relax into cooperation. When you begin to acknowledge the presence of all that permeates existence and is surrounding you at all times, then your vibration starts to raise. You sense that you are already held, already seen, already valued. From that awareness, action becomes expression instead of compensation. You create because you enjoy expansion. You achieve because growth excites you. You share because generosity feels natural, not because you need applause. You are either in a state of receiving, meaning you believe in the abundance of creation, or you are in a state of repelling, rejecting, resisting. External validation is unstable. Internal validation is sustainable. When you're rejecting, you're entertaining the problem. When you're receiving, you are entertaining a solution. Seeking approval entertains inadequacy. Affirming your worth entertains stability. You were never meant to chase love. You were meant to express it. The core desire for love was never outside you. It was waiting to be recognized within you. The moment you stop outsourcing love, you stop fearing loss. Because you realize you are not dependent on outcomes for emotional survival. You appreciate achievements without worshiping them. You enjoy recognition without requiring it. You welcome relationships without clinging. That is power. What you seek externally must be generated internally. This truth dissolves desperation. It replaces performance with presence. It replaces anxiety with grounded confidence. And when your identity shifts from seeker to source, life responds differently. Opportunities meet you at your new standard. Connections mirror your self-respect. Resources reflect your internal security. Because reality echoes belief. You were conditioned to look outward. Now you redirect inward. Not to isolate, not to withdraw, but to stabilize. Love is no longer something you chase. It becomes something you embody. And embodiment is receiving. In the next chapter, we move from understanding love internally to accessing the deeper intelligence that responds to it. If love is generated within, how do you communicate that frequency to the field of creation itself? Chapter 5. Accessing the quantum field through the heart. Your heart is not symbolic. It is strategic. It is not merely emotional. It is electromagnetic. Every moment, your body is broadcasting a signal. Your thoughts contribute, but your emotional state amplifies. The strongest signal does not come from mental repetition. It comes from coherence between what you think and what you feel. This is heart-brain coherence. When the mind and heart are aligned, your nervous system stabilizes. Your breathing slows. Your decisions sharpen. Your perception expands. When they are misaligned, static appears. You say you trust, but you feel anxious. You say you are confident, but your body braces. Mixed signals create mixed results. The heart signals. The field responds. The field does not interpret language. It interprets frequency. You don't access it through the mind, which is linear. You access it through the heart, which is multidimensional. The mind analyzes data. The heart transmits identity. The mind measures probability. The heart establishes possibility. Abundance is not linear because abundance is the quantum itself. It reorganizes around coherence. When your internal state is scattered, outcomes feel unpredictable. When your internal state is centered, opportunities feel synchronized. This is not superstition. It is alignment. Consider how your decisions shift when you feel calm certainty. You speak more slowly. You listen more deeply. You notice subtleties others overlook. Gratitude stabilizes the heart. Certainty steadies the breath. Together, they create coherence. And coherence changes perception. When you operate from appreciation, you see openings instead of obstacles. When you operate from panic, you see threats instead of pathways. The heart signals. The field responds. Gratitude is not polite behavior. It is energetic calibration. It tells your nervous system, there is enough. It tells your perception, support exists. It tells your identity, I am already supplied. From that state, your choices elevate. You negotiate from value instead of fear. You pursue from inspiration instead of urgency. You pause instead of react. When you're rejecting, you're entertaining the problem. When you're receiving, you are entertaining a solution. Coherence places you in solution awareness. Incoherence traps you in survival loops. You are either in a state of receiving, meaning you believe in the abundance of creation, or you are in a state of repelling, rejecting, resisting. Receiving begins in the heart. Think about the last time you felt deeply grateful. Your body softened. Your posture opened. Your voice warmed. In that state, ideas surfaced easily. Conversations flowed naturally. Timing aligned without force. That is not coincidence. When you're in a state of high vibrational emotions like love and gratitude, it instantaneously teleports you and shifts you into the alternate state of reality where you're receiving. The shift happens first internally, then externally. Calm certainty is equally powerful. Certainty is not loud. It does not demand attention. It is steady. It says, I know who I am. It says, I trust the unfolding. It says, I am supported. That internal steadiness influences behavior. You stop interrupting opportunities with doubt. You stop oversharing from insecurity. You stop hesitating when clarity appears. The heart signals. The field responds. Every interaction becomes a reflection of your internal regulation. If your heart is chaotic, your world appears unstable. If your heart is regulated, your world reflects harmony. Becoming a magnificent receiver begins with re-evaluating your relationship with the Creator. If you perceive yourself as separate from the intelligence that animates existence, you attempt to force results. If you recognize yourself as participating in that intelligence, you begin to cooperate. When you begin to acknowledge the presence of all that permeates existence and is surrounding you at all times, then your vibration starts to raise. You feel guided instead of isolated. You feel supported instead of abandoned. You feel synchronized instead of random. From this awareness, the heart naturally steadies. And a steady heart makes clean decisions. Gratitude alters cognition. It shifts attention from scarcity to sufficiency. When attention shifts, interpretation shifts. You interpret silence as space instead of rejection. You interpret delay as preparation instead of denial. You interpret feedback as refinement instead of attack. This is perceptual power. The heart signals. The field responds. Coherence also affects risk. When regulated, you take bold steps intelligently. When dysregulated, you either freeze or rush. Calm certainty produces measured courage. Measured courage produces sustainable growth. You are not manipulating the universe. You are aligning with it. The heart is the access point. The mind can visualize. The heart must believe. The mind can repeat affirmations. The heart must embody safety. Without embodiment, words remain hollow. With embodiment, silence becomes magnetic. You are either in a state of receiving, meaning you believe in the abundance of creation, or you are in a state of repelling, rejecting, resisting. Coherence moves you into receiving. Incoherence keeps you in resistance. The practice is simple. Breathe slowly. Focus on appreciation. Recall moments of genuine connection. Allow warmth to spread through the chest. Stay there. Decide from there. Speak from there. Act from there. Over time, this becomes your baseline. When the baseline rises, outcomes follow. Because the heart signals, the field responds. This is the invisible mechanism behind alignment. Not force, not obsession, not overthinking. Stability. Once you understand how to access the field through coherence, you stop trying to control every variable. You focus on regulating your state, and state determines trajectory. In the next chapter, we remove one of the biggest blocks to coherence. If the heart is the access point, what disrupts it most? The need to control the method. Chapter 6. Release the need to know how. The fastest way to disrupt alignment is to demand the blueprint. How will this happen? When exactly will it arrive? Through which person, platform, or path? These questions appear logical. They feel responsible. But beneath them often sits tension. The obsession with how signals distrust. Not curiosity. Distrust. It implies that if you cannot see the mechanism, you cannot relax. It suggests that unless the path is visible in advance, you are unsafe. That posture contracts your energy. You are either in a state of receiving, meaning you believe in the abundance of creation, or you are in a state of repelling, rejecting, resisting. Fixating on the method moves you into resistance. because control replaces cooperation. You don't access it through the mind, which is linear. You access it through the heart, which is multidimensional. The mind wants sequence. Step 1. Step 2. Step 3. The heart holds vision. It anchors an outcome. Abundance is not linear because abundance is the quantum itself. It does not require your supervision. It responds to alignment, clarity of vision, detachment from method. That is the posture of receiving. Think of a GPS system. You enter a destination. You do not demand to see every turn across the entire journey before starting the engine. You trust recalculation. If traffic appears, it reroutes. If you miss an exit, it adjusts. You remain focused on the destination, not the algorithm. Clarity of vision. Detachment from method. When you obsess over how, you attempt to micromanage the infinite. You limit possibilities to what your current awareness can conceive. You reduce the field to familiar pathways. That narrows opportunity. When you're rejecting, you're entertaining the problem. When you're receiving, you are entertaining a solution. Fixation on process entertains obstacles. Anchoring an outcome entertains expansion. This does not mean passivity. It means precision. You define what you desire. You cultivate the emotional state that matches it. Then you move when inspired, without forcing sequence. The obsession with logistics often hides fear. Fear of disappointment. Fear of uncertainty. Fear of appearing foolish. So the mind tries to secure guarantees. But guarantees are not the language of growth. Trust is. Clarity of vision. Detachment from method. Consider entrepreneurship. If you insist on predicting every variable before launching, you delay indefinitely. If you establish a clear outcome, impact, revenue, contribution, and allow iteration, momentum builds. Flexibility multiplies options. Rigidity reduces them. The heart signals. The field responds. If your signal carries tension, the path feels blocked. If your signal carries steadiness, synchronicity appears. When you're in a state of high vibrational emotions like love and gratitude, it instantaneously teleports you and shifts you into the alternate state of reality where you're receiving. From that state, ideas emerge unexpectedly. Conversations open doors. Opportunities arise through channels you did not design. That is recalculation. Life reorganizing around your clarity. The mind says, show me proof. The heart says, move with conviction. Clarity of vision. Detachment from method. Release does not mean indifference. It means confidence in intelligence greater than your current perspective. Becoming a magnificent receiver begins with re-evaluating your relationship with the Creator. If you believe you are alone in orchestrating outcomes, pressure intensifies. If you recognize yourself as co-creating within a vast field of intelligence, burden dissolves. When you begin to acknowledge the presence of all that permeates existence and is surrounding you at all times, then your vibration starts to raise. You sense guidance. You sense orchestration. You sense timing beyond personal calculation. From that awareness, the need to control decreases. You still act. You still plan. You still prepare. But you do not cling. You hold direction firmly. You hold strategy lightly. Clarity of vision. Detachment from method. This principle transforms relationships as well. If you dictate exactly how someone must show up, tension rises. If you define the qualities you value, respect, honesty, warmth, and allow expression to unfold, compatibility reveals itself naturally. Control suffocates. Trust liberates. You are either in a state of receiving, meaning you believe in the abundance of creation, or you are in a state of repelling, rejecting, resisting. Micromanaging the path communicates scarcity. Allowing multiple routes communicates abundance. Abundance is not fragile. It does not collapse when variables shift. It adapts, like the GPS, recalculating without panic. When a delay occurs, you do not abandon the destination. You continue. That steadiness matters. Impatience interrupts flow. Patience stabilizes it. The need to know every step often masks insecurity about worth. If I cannot see the guarantee, maybe I am not chosen. But selection is not random. Alignment attracts. The heart signals. The field responds. When your signal contains certainty about outcome and flexibility about pathway, momentum increases. You notice intuitive nudges. You respond to subtle invitations. You say yes when resonance appears. You say no when contraction surfaces. This is dynamic cooperation, not rigid control. Clarity of vision. Detachment from method. Release the compulsion to forecast every detail. Replace it with presence. Presence sharpens perception. Perception refines action. Action generates evidence. Evidence strengthens trust. Trust reinforces receiving. This is the cycle. The mind does not need the entire map. It needs direction. The heart sustains the journey. When you stop interrogating the process, energy returns to creativity. When you stop demanding certainty from circumstances, certainty develops within. An internal certainty is magnetic. The obsession with how dissolves when identity stabilizes. You know who you are. You know what you value. You know what you are moving toward. That is sufficient. Clarity of vision. Detachment from method. In the next chapter, we deepen trust even further. If control blocks flow, what happens when you recognize that force is never required? Chapter 7. Unconditional love and free will, the universe never forces. There is a principle that governs everything you experience. Nothing is imposed upon you energetically. Nothing is forced into your reality against your dominant internal position. The universe mirrors your internal consent, not your temporary wishes, not your surface-level affirmations. Your consent, and consent is deeper than desire. You can say you want abundance while internally believing wealth is dangerous. You can say you want love while internally fearing intimacy. You can say you want visibility while internally shrinking from judgment. Free will means you can resist what you ask for. This is not punishment. It is precision. You allow what you believe. Belief is permission. Belief is the gateway. If a part of you believes something is unsafe, your system closes. If a part of you believes something is undeserved, your behavior sabotages. If a part of you believes something is unavailable, your perception filters it out. You allow what you believe. The universe does not override your internal narrative. It reflects it. You are either in a state of receiving, meaning you believe in the abundance of creation, or you are in a state of repelling, rejecting, resisting. Resistance is not loud. It is subtle. It appears as procrastination. It appears as overthinking. It appears as attraction to what confirms limitation. Free will is powerful. It gives you the ability to align. It also gives you the ability to block. If you have ever wondered why something you deeply desired did not arrive, examine consent. Did you truly feel safe holding it? Did you truly believe you deserved it? Did you truly see it as natural for you? Or did you imagine it as distant, rare, reserved for others? You allow what you believe. Consider relationships. You say you want partnership, yet internally, you carry the belief that closeness leads to abandonment. Your nervous system braces when intimacy increases. You create distance unconsciously. You interpret neutral events as threats. Not because love is unavailable, because your internal consent is divided. Free will means you can resist what you ask for. The same applies to financial expansion. If you associate wealth with corruption, your identity will avoid it. If you associate prosperity with stress, you will downplay opportunities. If you believe visibility attracts criticism, you will dim your light. The universe never forces. It does not push blessings into clenched hands. It responds to openness. The heart signals. The field responds. If the signal contains hesitation, the reflection mirrors hesitation. If the signal contains readiness, the reflection accelerates. You don't access it through the mind, which is linear. You access it through the heart, which is multidimensional. The mind declares goals. The heart determines permission. Abundance is not linear because abundance is the quantum itself. It aligns with resonance. When you're in a state of high vibrational emotions like love and gratitude, it instantaneously teleports you and shifts you into the alternate state of reality where you're receiving. That state communicates allowance. Allowance says, "This is safe." Allowance says, "This belongs in my life." Allowance says, "I am prepared." You allow what you believe. Unconditional love means there is no coercion in creation. The field does not negotiate with you. It reflects you. If you tighten, it pauses. If you open, it flows. This understanding dissolves blame. You stop accusing circumstances. You stop resenting timing. You start examining alignment. When you're rejecting, you're entertaining the problem. When you're receiving, you are entertaining a solution. Resistance entertains fear. Allowance entertains trust. Trust is not blind optimism. It is embodied safety. Becoming a magnificent receiver begins with re-evaluating your relationship with the Creator. If you imagine the Creator as testing you, withholding from you, challenging you to prove worth, you brace. If you recognize the Creator as an ever-present intelligence responding to your frequency, you relax. When you begin to acknowledge the presence of all that permeates existence and is surrounding you at all times, then your vibration starts to raise. You realize you are participating in something cooperative, not competitive, not adversarial, cooperative. Free will is sacred. You choose your beliefs. You choose your interpretations. You choose your internal posture. And that posture becomes permission. You allow what you believe. So how do you shift belief? You examine your reactions. Where do you feel contraction when imagining success? Where do you feel anxiety when imagining love? Where do you feel guilt when imagining ease? Those sensations reveal hidden resistance. Do not judge them. Observe them. Then introduce new internal narratives. Success expands my impact. Love strengthens my life. Ease is sustainable. Repetition rewires consent. Gradually, the nervous system stops bracing. Gradually, the heart steadies. Gradually, allowance becomes natural. You are either in a state of receiving, meaning you believe in the abundance of creation, or you are in a state of repelling, rejecting, resisting. Receiving is permission embodied. Repelling is protection activated. Protection once served you. Now it may be limiting you. Free will means you can choose differently. You can decide that abundance is safe. You can decide that visibility is aligned. You can decide that love is supportive. The universe never forces. It waits for your agreement. Once agreement stabilizes, movement accelerates. Because the heart signals, the field responds. This is empowering. It means you are not at the mercy of randomness. You are participating in reflection. Your internal yes matters. Your internal no matters. Alignment is not about convincing reality. It is about consenting to expansion. You allow what you believe. In the next chapter, we shift from understanding consent to understanding friction. If the universe does not force, what happens when you try to? Chapter 8. Stop forcing. Start aligning. Force is effort wrapped in tension. Alignment is effort infused with clarity. Both involve action. Only one sustains momentum. Forcing creates friction. Alignment creates flow. Friction shows up as resistance in the body. Tight shoulders, shallow breathing, impatient thoughts. The constant sense that you are pushing against something invisible. Flow feels different. Your movements are deliberate. Your decisions feel clean. Your timing feels intuitive. Flow feels light. Force feels heavy. This distinction is everything. Many people mistake exhaustion for dedication. They believe that if something feels difficult, it must be valuable. But difficulty caused by growth is different from difficulty caused by misalignment. Growth stretches you. Misalignment drains you. Flow feels light. Force feels heavy. Consider burnout. Someone builds a business from urgency. They wake up already anxious. They check emails before their feet hit the floor. Every task feels like a race against failure. They tell themselves they are disciplined, but internally they are afraid. Afraid of losing status. Afraid of disappointing others. Afraid of falling behind. Their actions are driven by avoidance. Over time, creativity declines. Resentment rises. Energy collapses. This is force. Now contrast that with inspired action. Another person builds from vision. They still work hard. They still show up consistently. But their motivation is contribution, not survival. They take breaks without guilt. They delegate without shame. They refine strategy without panic. Their nervous system remains regulated. Energy replenishes instead of depletes. This is alignment. Flow feels light. Force feels heavy. You are either in a state of receiving, meaning you believe in the abundance of creation, or you are in a state of repelling, rejecting, resisting. Forcing is often hidden resistance. It says, I do not trust timing. It says, I must control the outcome. It says, if I stop pushing, everything collapses. That belief creates contraction. Alignment says something different. It says, I move with clarity. It says, I respond to opportunity. It says, I trust recalibration. You don't access it through the mind, which is linear. You access it through the heart, which is multidimensional. The mind equates busyness with progress. The heart evaluates resonance. Abundance is not linear because abundance is the quantum itself. It responds to coherence. When you're in a state of high vibrational emotions like love and gratitude, it instantaneously teleports you and shifts you into the alternate state of reality where you're receiving. In that state, ideas surface without strain. Connections appear naturally. Decisions feel obvious instead of overwhelming. The heart signals. The field responds. When your signal carries urgency and fear, circumstances mirror struggle. When your signal carries steadiness and conviction, circumstances reflect ease. This does not mean there are no challenges. It means challenges do not destabilize you. Flow feels light. Force feels heavy. Look at your schedule. Are you acting from inspiration or obligation? Are you saying yes because it aligns or because you fear missing out? Are you pursuing a goal because it excites you or because it validates you? Force is fueled by proving. Alignment is fueled by purpose. When you're rejecting, you're entertaining the problem. When you're receiving, you are entertaining a solution. Forcing entertains scarcity. Alignment entertains expansion. Becoming a magnificent receiver begins with reevaluating your relationship with the Creator. If you perceive life as something that must be conquered, you tighten. If you perceive life as something that collaborates with you, you soften. When you begin to acknowledge the presence of all that permeates existence and is surrounding you at all times, then your vibration starts to raise. You stop fighting circumstances. You begin navigating them. This shift changes productivity. Aligned individuals accomplish more with less depletion. Their focus sharpens. Their boundaries strengthen. Their communication clarifies. Forceful individuals scatter energy. They multitask without intention. They commit beyond capacity. They operate in constant reactivity. Flow feels light. Force feels heavy. Pay attention to physical cues. If your chest compresses before a task, investigate. If your stomach tightens before a conversation, pause. If your jaw clenches before a decision, reassess. The body reveals alignment. Lightness does not mean laziness. It means congruence. When action matches identity, it feels natural. When action contradicts identity, it feels forced. You are either in a state of receiving, meaning you believe in the abundance of creation, or you are in a state of repelling, rejecting, resisting. Alignment keeps you in receiving. Force pushes you into resistance. The difference often lies in timing. Aligned action waits for clarity. Forced action reacts to pressure. Aligned action builds sustainably. Forced action spikes and crashes. Think of a river. When water moves with the current, energy is conserved. When you swim upstream unnecessarily, exhaustion arrives quickly. You can still exert effort within flow, but you are moving with direction, not against it. Flow feels light. Force feels heavy. Ask yourself before major decisions. Am I expanding or contracting? Am I inspired or anxious? Am I acting to express or to escape? Whenever you want to experience a real quantum shift, a real-life transformation, the first thing I want you to ask yourself is, am I in a state to receive, or am I resisting and repelling? Force often hides fear of inadequacy. Alignment arises from self-trust. Self-trust reduces urgency. Urgency reduces clarity. Clarity increases effectiveness. This is how sustainable success forms. Not through grinding endlessly, through calibrated movement. You still commit. You still stretch. You still refine. But you do not abandon yourself in the process. Flow feels light. Force feels heavy. Once you master the difference, you stop glorifying exhaustion. You begin valuing coherence. And coherence attracts results with less strain. In the next chapter, we go deeper into identity. If alignment depends on how you see yourself, then who you believe you are determines what you allow. Chapter 9, Identity Shift. You receive what you believe you deserve. Your life expands or contracts to match your self-concept. Not your goals. Not your effort. Your identity. You do not receive what you want. You receive what you believe you deserve. This is the invisible ceiling governing every result. Self-worth determines the altitude of your success. If you internally believe you are average, you will unconsciously cap extraordinary outcomes. If you internally believe you are unstable, you will sabotage consistent growth. If you internally believe you are unworthy of ease, you will complicate simple paths. Raise self-concept, raise results. This is not motivational language. It is structural. Your subconscious holds a deserving set point. Like a thermostat, it regulates what feels normal. If income rises above what feels familiar, anxiety increases. If a partner treats you better than expected, suspicion appears. If recognition exceeds your comfort zone, you deflect praise. The system returns you to baseline, not because success is wrong, because identity has not adjusted. Raise self-concept, raise results. The deserving set point forms early, through family dialogue, through cultural messaging, through repeated emotional experiences. If you were praised only when you excelled, you may equate worth with performance. If you were criticized frequently, you may equate visibility with risk. If stability felt rare, you may equate chaos with familiarity. These imprints shape expectation. Expectation shapes behavior. Behavior shapes outcome. You are either in a state of receiving, meaning you believe in the abundance of creation, or you are in a state of repelling, rejecting, resisting. Low self-concept repels quietly. It declines opportunities politely. It underprices value modestly. It chooses partners who confirm insecurity subtly. High self-concept receives naturally. It negotiates calmly. It sets boundaries clearly. It expects respect consistently. Raise self-concept, raise results. Examine your internal dialogue. When something good happens, do you think, I earned this, or this won't last? When someone compliments you, do you absorb it or dismiss it? When you imagine major success, do you feel expansion or tension? Your reactions reveal your set point. You don't access it through the mind, which is linear. You access it through the heart, which is multidimensional. The mind can rehearse confidence. The heart must embody worthiness. Embodiment requires repetition. not of empty affirmations, of aligned action. If you see yourself as capable, you take calculated risks. If you see yourself as valuable, you protect your time. If you see yourself as deserving, you decline misaligned offers. Raise self-concept, raise results. Abundance is not linear because abundance is the quantum itself. It reorganizes around identity shifts. When your internal narrative upgrades, external patterns follow. When you're in a state of high vibrational emotions like love and gratitude, it instantaneously teleports you and shifts you into the alternate state of reality where you're receiving. Gratitude reinforces deserving. It says, "Good belongs in my life." Shame undermines deserving. It says, "I must compensate." The heart signals. The field responds. If your signal communicates inadequacy, you attract circumstances that confirm it. If your signal communicates capability, you attract challenges that elevate you. This is not about arrogance. It is about accuracy. Accurate self-assessment recognizes strengths without inflation. It acknowledges growth areas without condemnation. Becoming a magnificent receiver begins with re-evaluating your relationship with the Creator. If you believe you must prove your worth to a higher power, you internalize conditional value. If you understand yourself as an expression of creative intelligence, inherent worth becomes obvious. When you begin to acknowledge the presence of all that permeates existence and is surrounding you at all times, then your vibration starts to raise. You realize you are not separate from abundance. You are participating in it. That realization stabilizes identity. Raise self-concept, raise results. Practical shifts accelerate this process. Upgrade your language. Replace "I hope" with "I expect." Replace "I'll try" with "I commit." Replace "I'm not ready" with "I am learning." Language influences perception. Perception influences posture. Posture influences opportunity. Also examine standards. Do you tolerate behavior that contradicts your values? Do you accept compensation below your contribution? Do you shrink your ideas to avoid criticism? Each compromise lowers your set point. Each boundary strengthens it. You are either in a state of receiving, meaning you believe in the abundance of creation, or you are in a state of repelling, rejecting, resisting. Receiving requires congruence between desire and identity. If you desire abundance but identify as limited, tension arises. If you desire partnership but identify as unlovable, conflict persists. Raise self-concept, raise results. Identity expansion feels uncomfortable initially. New levels introduce unfamiliar visibility. Increased responsibility accompanies growth. But discomfort does not mean misalignment. It means recalibration. The deserving set point adjusts gradually. Small wins reinforce capability. Consistent follow-through reinforces reliability. Celebrating progress reinforces adequacy. Over time, the baseline elevates, and what once felt impossible feels normal. That is the shift. From chasing to embodying. From hoping to expecting. From doubting to deciding. Raise self-concept, raise results. When you're rejecting, you're entertaining the problem. When you're receiving, you are entertaining a solution. Low identity entertains limitation. Elevated identity entertains expansion. Your external world cannot sustainably exceed your internal valuation. So increase valuation. Not through comparison, through recognition. List your competencies. Acknowledge resilience. Own your growth. Stand in it. The heart signals. The field responds. If your signal communicates readiness, opportunities align accordingly. Identity is the anchor. Once anchored higher, results stabilize. In the next chapter, we refine the emotional skill that maintains elevated identity. Because even strong self-concept requires regulation. Chapter 10, Emotional Mastery. Calm is magnetic. Calm is not passive. Calm is presence. Calm is leverage. Your emotional state shapes every decision, every connection, every result. Emotional regulation is not a luxury. It is a manifestation accelerator. The faster you stabilize internally, the faster the world stabilizes externally. When your nervous system is reactive, energy scatters. When your nervous system is regulated, energy condenses into magnetic focus. Peace is power. Consider high-value individuals you admire. They move slowly, not out of laziness. They speak calmly, not out of disinterest. They make decisions deliberately, not out of hesitation. Their composure signals readiness. Their energy attracts collaboration. Their presence communicates competence. Peace is power. When you react emotionally to every challenge, you broadcast tension. The field mirrors that tension. Opportunities feel scarce. Interactions feel strained. Flow contracts. When you cultivate internal calm, the field mirrors that coherence. Connections become easier. Resources appear aligned. Decisions come with clarity instead of confusion. Peace is power. Your internal climate sets the tone for external results. A calm mind interprets circumstances accurately. A reactive mind interprets circumstances as threat. Alignment emerges naturally from regulated perception. When you're rejecting, you're entertaining the problem. When you're receiving, you are entertaining a solution. Reactivity entertains chaos. Calmness entertains opportunity. Regulation is skill, not luck. Start with the body. Slow your breath. Release tension in shoulders and jaw. Notice posture and realign. These physical shifts feed emotional regulation. Peace is power. Next, regulate thought. Observe repetitive worry loops. Detach from narratives that amplify stress. Replace them with awareness. Awareness dissolves tension. Finally, cultivate emotional response deliberately. Choose gratitude over complaint. Choose curiosity over panic. Choose patience over urgency. Peace is power. High-value individuals exude magnetism without effort. Not because everything is perfect, because their inner landscape is steady. Chaos touches them, but does not move them. Others instinctively respect that. They sense reliability. They sense readiness. They sense abundance. When you internalize calm, you stop reacting to minor triggers. You stop overcommitting. You stop forcing outcomes. Flow feels effortless. Peace is power. Even difficult circumstances become manageable. Calm allows for intelligent adaptation. When a challenge arises, you respond strategically instead of emotionally. When a delay occurs, you adjust without frustration. When tension emerges in relationships, you communicate instead of argue. Peace is power. Your signal to the field changes. A steady energy attracts synchronistic opportunities. Scattered energy attracts complication. You are either in a state of receiving, meaning you believe in the abundance of creation, or you are in a state of repelling, rejecting, resisting. Receiving operates from calm. Repelling operates from agitation. Internal regulation amplifies influence. People notice. Circumstances notice. Timing notices. Peace is power. Practice becomes habit. Daily meditation. Intentional pauses before responses. Gratitude check-ins. Breath work before decisions. Peace is power. Mastering calm transforms perception. Situations are interpreted accurately. Actions are measured, not rushed. Communication becomes clear, not reactive. Energy feels magnetic, not strained. Even in conflict, calm produces leverage. Opposition meets steadiness. Calmness dissolves tension. Peace is power. By cultivating this state consistently, you signal readiness for abundance. The heart signals. The field responds. You move from chasing to receiving, from reacting to commanding presence, from scarcity to magnetic expansion. When you embody calm, the world rearranges around you. You are a point of coherence in a chaotic field. Peace is power. In the next chapter, We integrate emotional mastery with relationships, recognizing that your internal state sets the tone for connection. Chapter 11. Detachment is not indifference, it is confidence. Detachment is widely misunderstood. Many believe it signals indifference. They imagine a detached person as cold, aloof, or uncaring. This is incorrect. Detachment is not apathy. It is trust. It is confidence. It is an internal posture that communicates self-assurance. When you detach, you stop clinging to outcomes. You stop trying to manufacture compliance or attention. You stop negotiating your value through persistence. I prefer it. I don't need it. Those words summarize the energy of true detachment. You want something, yet you remain complete without it. You desire connection, yet you are stable alone. You invite abundance, yet you do not grasp at it. This energy transforms interaction. Consider relationships. Two partners are in tension. One chases. The other observes calmly. The chaser demonstrates anxiety and need. The observer embodies certainty and presence. The chaser pressures. The observer attracts. One dynamic collapses under effort. The other expands naturally. I prefer it. I don't need it. When the observer communicates through detachment, the other feels magnetized. Absence of need does not signal lack of interest. It signals inner sufficiency. People respond to sufficiency. They are drawn to stability. They respect grounded boundaries. They mirror self-possession. The same principle applies beyond relationships. Career opportunities, financial expansion, creative partnerships. When you release desperation, influence increases. When you stop pushing, doors open. When you allow, synchronization occurs. I prefer it. I don't need it. This does not mean passivity. Detachment requires clarity of intention. You know what you want. You pursue strategically. You act decisively. You let go of attachment to outcomes. Detachment allows flexibility. It allows you to pivot without panic. It allows you to respond rather than react. Force and desperation shrink your field. Detachment expands it. When you detach, you honor the other person's free will. You no longer try to bend circumstances to your comfort. You respect timing. You respect autonomy. You respect alignment. You are either in a state of receiving, meaning you believe in the abundance of creation, or you are in a state of repelling, rejecting, resisting. Detachment moves you into receiving. Clinging moves you into repelling. When you're rejecting, you're entertaining the problem. When you're receiving, you are entertaining a solution. The energy of detachment communicates abundance. It says, I am whole regardless of this outcome. It says, I am capable of thriving even if this does not arrive. It says, I attract naturally, I do not chase. Detachment is a signal to the universe, to others, and to yourself. It declares sovereignty. It declares composure. It declares self-respect. The heart signals. The field responds. When you embody this energy consistently, relationships shift. Conflict becomes negotiation, not struggle. Connection becomes mutual, not conditional. Your presence influences interactions. Your state dictates tone. I prefer it. I don't need it. This mantra reinforces your identity internally. It solidifies self-worth. It stabilizes emotional baseline. It reduces reactivity. It allows coherence to radiate externally. Peace is power. Detachment is magnetism. Detachment is quiet authority. It communicates trust in life, trust in timing, trust in alignment. When you detach from neediness, you also detach from disappointment. You no longer allow external events to define your internal climate. You maintain equanimity regardless of reception. You align with abundance rather than desperation. Your choices become strategic, not reactive. You act with intention. You respond with discernment. You wait with confidence. You release with grace. I prefer it. I don't need it. This energy elevates every domain of life. The field notices. Opportunities match your internal stability. People mirror your composure. Experiences flow instead of being forced. Detachment is not escape. It is presence. It is mastery of self. It is the difference between reaction and creation. When the internal foundation is solid, life responds appropriately. You do not shrink. You do not overcompensate. You do not chase validation. You are complete. You are confident. You are magnetic. The next chapter builds on this foundation by exploring how to integrate your desires with universal intelligence. Chapter 12, The Tangible Exercise for Manifestation, Embodying Receiving. Manifestation is not wishful thinking. It is embodied practice. The field responds to experience, not ideas. You cannot simply declare abundance and expect the world to rearrange. You must feel it first. Feel first. Receive second. One of the most powerful practices is daily heart coherence visualization. Take 10 minutes each day. Sit comfortably. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply. Allow the body to soften. Release tension in shoulders, jaw, and chest. Focus on the heart center. Visualize the outcome you desire, not as a distant event, but as a present reality. Imagine the experience fully. See yourself living it. Hear the sounds. Notice the textures. Feel the emotions. Savor the joy, gratitude, and love that accompany it. The body cannot distinguish between actual events and vividly imagined feelings. When you experience it internally, the nervous system registers it as real. The heart signals. The field responds. Feel first. Receive second. Next, integrate identity scripting. This is the declaration of who you already are. I am the version of me who. Fill in the blank with the highest expression of your desired reality. I am the version of me who attracts opportunities effortlessly. I am the version of me who moves with calm certainty. I am the version of me who embodies abundance in all areas of life. Say it aloud. Write it down. Live it internally. Identity scripting rewires the subconscious. It elevates the deserving set point. It stabilizes confidence. It aligns internal consent with external desire. Feel first. Receive second. Combine heart coherence visualization with identity scripting. First, evoke the emotions. Second, declare the self. Third, act from that elevated state. Action taken from alignment is magnetic. It flows naturally. It does not push. It does not strain. You are either in a state of receiving, meaning you believe in the abundance of creation, or you are in a state of repelling, rejecting, resisting. Receiving begins internally. Repelling begins when intention contradicts emotion. The exercise builds consistency. 10 minutes a day compounds into a new baseline. Your nervous system becomes accustomed to high vibrational states. Your heart signals. The field responds. The more you practice, the faster opportunities sync with your frequency. Feel first. Receive second. Integration is key. Carry the internal state into daily life. When interacting with others, maintain emotional coherence. When making decisions, anchor in heart-centered clarity. When obstacles arise, return to calm visualization rather than tension. Your external world is a reflection of your internal calibration. The exercise is tangible because it requires no external approval. It is portable, immediate, and repeatable. Even 5 minutes under stress can recalibrate alignment. Feel first. Receive second. Over time, this practice becomes instinctive. Your default state shifts. The heart signals. The field responds. Identity, emotion, and action converge. Receiving becomes effortless. Resistance dissolves naturally. By embedding this daily ritual, manifestation ceases to be a theory. It becomes lived experience. The gap between desire and reality narrows. You are no longer asking for what you believe you lack. You are living as the version of yourself who already possesses it. Feel first. Receive second. Consistency creates evidence for the subconscious mind. Your identity reinforces permission. Your emotion amplifies signal. Your action aligns trajectory. Momentum accelerates. This is how dreams transform into tangible outcomes. This is how abundance becomes inevitable. When you're rejecting, you're entertaining the problem. When you're receiving, you are entertaining a solution. The tangible practice anchors you in receiving. No speculation. No forcing. No impatience. You are embodying the reality you desire. The next chapter explores the ultimate principle behind desire: unconditional love and allowing free will to operate. Chapter 13. Gratitude as proof of certainty. Gratitude is not a polite gesture. It is a declaration of alignment. When you feel gratitude genuinely, you communicate, "It is already mine." This is not wishful thinking. It is proof. Proof to yourself. Proof to the universe. Proof to the field that you are ready to receive. Gratitude collapses time. When you operate from genuine appreciation, past limitations lose weight. Future anxiety dissolves. The present becomes rich with possibility. Your focus sharpens. Your attention gravitates toward evidence of abundance. Neuroscience calls this reticular activation. Your brain filters and amplifies what matches your dominant focus. If you dwell on scarcity, opportunities pass unnoticed. If you dwell on abundance, alignment appears constantly. Gratitude is the amplifier. It primes the nervous system to notice patterns that confirm your worthiness. It trains perception to recognize opportunity instead of absence. Gratitude collapses time. You no longer wait for a future moment to feel satisfaction. You inhabit the completeness of the outcome now. The field does not distinguish between present certainty and physical manifestation. Your nervous system signals readiness. Your energy becomes magnetic. You are either in a state of receiving, meaning you believe in the abundance of creation, or you are in a state of repelling, rejecting, resisting. Receiving begins when you inhabit certainty through appreciation. Repelling begins when you search for external proof. Gratitude aligns desire with certainty. It transforms longing into presence. It signals to your subconscious that what you want is already natural, expected, and safe. Gratitude collapses time. Even small acknowledgments amplify internal state. A warm meal, a supportive conversation, a quiet morning. Recognizing these moments expands perception. They prime your system to accept larger blessings. Gratitude is self-reinforcing. When you notice abundance, you generate more abundance. When you appreciate relationships, those relationships deepen. When you honor your achievements, new opportunities appear. Gratitude collapses time. It eliminates delay. It eradicates doubt. It neutralizes resistance. The field responds immediately to the emotional signature. High vibrational emotions, like love and appreciation, instantaneously shift reality toward receiving. The heart signals. The field responds. You are signaling readiness for more. This is not about pretending. It is about inhabiting truth. You are already deserving. You are already aligned. You are already equipped. Gratitude transforms belief into embodiment. Gratitude collapses time. It bridges the gap between current reality and desired outcome. It communicates certainty to every layer of your being. It allows the subconscious to act in service of manifestation. It creates confidence in timing. It dissolves impatience. It reinforces trust in universal orchestration. You do not wait. You do not push. You inhabit what you want now. Gratitude collapses time. The practice is simple. Each morning, identify 3 things you deeply appreciate. Each evening, recall 3 moments where life supported you. Focus on the feelings more than the details. Let warmth and contentment saturate your body. Notice how decisions feel lighter. Notice how opportunities appear effortless. Gratitude collapses time. It communicates abundance before circumstances confirm it. It shifts identity, aligning self-concept with desired reality. It stabilizes emotional baseline. It signals that you are receiving, not chasing. When you embody gratitude consistently, the field accelerates manifestation. Your internal state and external reality synchronize. Receiving becomes effortless. Repelling becomes rare. Gratitude collapses time. It is proof. Proof of readiness. Proof of alignment. Proof that you are already operating in the reality you intend to inhabit. In the next chapter, we explore the final internal obstacle to receiving fully, releasing the attachment to outcomes. Chapter 14, Signs, Synchronicities, and Neutral Thinking. Life constantly speaks to you through signs and synchronicities. A song on the radio, a sudden conversation, an unexpected opportunity. Many interpret these as instructions to control outcomes. They overanalyze, overinterpret, and overreact. This interrupts flow. Stop overanalyzing signs. A sign is information, not obligation. It is a reflection, not a command. It points toward alignment, not demand. Synchronicities are confirmations of resonance. They indicate that your internal state matches external possibility. They do not dictate your next step. They reveal coherence, not obligation. Overanalysis triggers emotional volatility. When you chase meaning in every coincidence, tension rises. Your nervous system stiffens. Your heart constricts. You create pressure where none exists. Neutral thinking prevents emotional volatility. It allows observation without judgment. It allows curiosity without expectation. It's unfolding. I remain steady. These words encapsulate the practice. You notice synchronicities. You register them. You let them exist without forcing interpretation. You maintain calm regardless of the sign's appearance. This does not diminish the value of signs. It magnifies it. Clarity emerges naturally when the mind is quiet. The heart recognizes the path without interference. It's unfolding. I remain steady. The energy of expectation collapses. The energy of doubt dissolves. The energy of resistance transforms into receptivity. You are either in a state of receiving, meaning you believe in the abundance of creation, or you are in a state of repelling, rejecting, resisting. Receiving allows signs to serve. Repelling magnifies uncertainty. Neutral thinking stabilizes alignment. It prevents reaction to every fluctuation in circumstance. It preserves high vibrational emotions like love, gratitude, and calm certainty. When you're rejecting, you're entertaining the problem. When you're receiving, you are entertaining a solution. The field responds to steady attention. It does not respond to scattered analysis. Signs appear for confirmation, not command. Synchronicities arrive to reassure alignment, not to create pressure. Observe them. Appreciate them. Release attachment to their meaning. It's unfolding. I remain steady. This is the practice of the magnificent receiver. It preserves energy. It maintains clarity. It allows inspired action to emerge naturally. It harmonizes timing. It aligns perception with universal intelligence. You do not need to interpret every pattern. You do not need to force evidence. You only need to remain aligned internally. When alignment is stable, signs are obvious without overthinking. The heart signals. The field responds. Your nervous system guides you toward action when the moment is optimal. Neutral thinking ensures you act from presence, not reactivity. Peace becomes your default. Energy remains coherent. Momentum flows uninterrupted. It's unfolding. I remain steady. This phrase anchors you when temptation arises to control, doubt, or chase. It bridges patience and action. It reinforces trust in timing, intelligence, and your own consent to receive. The world continues in perfect orchestration. Your role is to remain calm, aware, and aligned. You notice synchronistic signals. You allow them to inform without dominating your energy. You act when inspired, not because the signs demand it. You stabilize internally. You focus externally with purpose. You maintain high vibrational emotion. You trust the flow of reality. It's unfolding. I remain steady. This practice transforms subtle anxiety into certainty. It converts overthinking into clarity. It elevates the frequency at which you operate. It strengthens the invisible link between intention and manifestation. Signs and synchronicities become confirmations, not crutches, not obligations, but natural reflections of alignment. The next chapter integrates all practices: receiving, detachment, identity, emotional mastery, gratitude, and neutral observation. Chapter 15. Become the receiver, live as if it's done. Receiving is not a future event. It is a present choice. You are either in a state of receiving, meaning you believe in the abundance of creation, or you are in a state of repelling, rejecting, resisting. The distinction is immediate. You do not wait for confirmation from circumstances. You live as if what you desire already exists. Walk, speak, and decide as your future self. Every step communicates readiness. Every word signals permission. Every choice reflects alignment. Embodiment surpasses visualization. Seeing it in the mind is preparation. Living it in the body is activation. Your posture, your tone, your rhythm of life, all of it communicates a state of having. When you act as the receiver, the field recognizes coherence. Momentum accelerates naturally. Opportunities appear synchronistically. Obstacles soften. Timing aligns. I am not chasing. I am choosing. This is the mantra of the magnificent receiver. It reminds you that your power is internal. You do not need to push outcomes. You do not need to plead for validation. You do not need to negotiate for attention. You are choosing intentionally from a place of completeness. Every decision becomes an expression of alignment. You evaluate situations calmly. You select opportunities that resonate. You release those that do not. Your actions are deliberate, not desperate. Your energy signals abundance. Your presence magnetizes resources, people, and circumstances that match your frequency. Receiving is embodied consent. The universe responds instantly to coherence. When you hold certainty, the field reflects certainty. When you maintain calm, the field maintains support. When you act from alignment, manifestation accelerates. Feel first. Receive second. Everything you have learned now integrates. The heart signals. The mind supports. Gratitude confirms. Detachment empowers. Identity anchors. Neutral observation stabilizes. All converge in the state of receiving. You are no longer chasing. You are living in alignment. You are completing the loop between desire and embodiment. Your nervous system, your heart, and your mind communicate in harmony. Your vibration is high, coherent, and magnetic. Obstacles are invitations, not deterrents. Signs are confirmations, not commands. Synchronicities are accelerants, not crutches. Every action, every breath, every word is filtered through this lens of abundance. I am not chasing. I am choosing. This is no longer theory. This is life as a receiver. The world responds to your state. Relationships reflect completeness. Opportunities mirror confidence. Prosperity aligns with readiness. The future self and present self merge seamlessly. Living as if it is done rewires the subconscious mind. It dissolves the ceiling of deserving. It collapses delay and impatience. It communicates certainty to the field before physical manifestation occurs. Your internal state becomes the blueprint. Your daily actions are the proof. Every challenge is met from strength, not fear. Every desire is embodied before arrival. Momentum is no longer forced. It is natural. Receiving is effortless when fully integrated. You are choosing alignment. You are signaling readiness. You are embodying abundance. The field responds to you, instantly, coherently, inevitably. You are living as if it is done. You are not hoping. You are not waiting. You are not chasing. You are choosing. This is mastery. This is magnetism. This is the state of being that converts desire into reality. Your energy matches the field. Your vibration commands manifestation. You are a magnificent receiver, and every step forward confirms it. The heart signals. The field responds. You walk, speak, and decide as the self that already has. You live fully in receiving. I am not chasing. I am choosing. You have arrived. You are complete. You are the magnet, and the universe bends to your coherence. In closing, you now understand the truth. You were never blocked. You were broadcasting need instead of certainty. You were chasing instead of embodying. You were asking life to prove your worth instead of deciding it. Everything you want already exists in potential, but potential responds to identity. The moment you stop saying, I need this to feel whole. The moment you say, I am whole, and I welcome this, everything shifts. You don't attract what you beg for. You attract what matches your internal state. So become calm. Become certain. Become fulfilled before the evidence appears. Walk like it's done. Speak like it's done. Decide like it's done. Release the timeline. Release the fear. Release the obsession with how. The universe does not reward desperation. It mirrors belief. From this moment forward, you do not chase love. You generate it. You do not chase money. You align with abundance. You do not chase validation. You validate yourself. You are no longer a seeker. You are a receiver. And here is your challenge. For the next 30 days, eliminate the word need. Replace it with I choose. Eliminate the energy of doubt. Replace it with calm certainty. Eliminate chasing. Replace it with embodiment. Test it. Watch what shifts. And when it does, remember, it was never luck. It was alignment. Now go receive.